Kia ora, everyone. Welcome to the second Higurashi Bookclub.
Let's go.
We did it.
Yeah, we did two. We did two. That means it's a series. We haven't failed. My name is Horse Fry, and I'm joined here by...
Hello, I'm Des.
It's as Corey.
I'm Kirby. Hello. Hi. It's been a while.
Yeah.
It has been a while. Did you remember what the last episode you were on was?
Legitimately no, actually.
If I had to take a wild guess, I'd say probably the Ciconia theories or the drip theories.
I thought it was the Ciconia one.
Yeah, because I remember having a new... I remember having a new sprite for the Ciconia thing, and then I don't remember anything after that, so it's probably that.
You did one episode with your new sprite.
Yeah, I made you do a new sprite, and then I disappeared. I fell into a hole.
Like Ciconia.
Sorry. Yeah, just like Ciconia. We're not here to talk about that today. We're here to talk about everyone's favorite Higurashi.
Ooh,
Onikakushi.
I mean, it's not too late. We could turn around and do a data
We could talk
ahead.
about Ciconia. We could talk about Ciconia instead after making no notes. So, fragments, huh?
So, I mean, yeah, like, anyone want to talk about what they've been up to in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
It is a book club after all.
Yeah, it hasn't been that long since our last one, I think.
It has been a week, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah, Des has been on a roll. Like, the last, 3 episodes have all been edited by Des, 1 week after the next. And, one of them he edited, the weekend of.
Yeah, Des is kind of crazy.
Yeah. I would like to give my thanks for this streak of uploads week to week, back to back. I would like to give props to the fact that I'm unemployed. that has been a very major factor. Thank you very much.
Yay!
Hooray for unemployment.
So it once again comes back to the fact that I'm still waiting for the goddamn document to be able to
Hey, it'll happen.
work.
I'm sure it'll happen sometime soon.
I sure hope it does. Otherwise, they're gonna, employ someone else.
If the Des sees his shadow, that means 3 more weeks of perfectly edited podcast episodes on time.
That is the age-old adage.
Do you think, your university or is a huge fan of When They Cry?
Yeah,
They're just
should ask them.
We should send this to him, but I want another episode. I need to see how the Higurashi Book
Yeah,
Club goes.
the entire board is keeping your I assume it's your little, what do they call it, the graduation paper.
Yeah, no, that one also took a lot to arrive, but what I'm waiting for is the paper that I needed that paper for.
Oh yeah, no.
It's a whole mess. Bureaucracy, am I right?
That's bureaucracy for you. Hey, here's your paper so that you can wait 3 weeks to get another paper so that you can...
No, that's exactly it.
Yes, no, I've been there so many times. It's crazy.
So, what have you been up to, people?
I've been cooking a lot, which has been fun.
You've been cooking? Yo, crystallized meth?
Yeah, you know it.
Oh, let's go, Mr. White!
I made a butternut squash curry soup last night, which was very good.
That sounds really good, yeah. That sounds really good.
Could you say that again more slowly?
A butternut squash curry soup.
Damn, I've never heard of that.
A butternut is an orange long squash that kind of, when you sort of cut into it, has I guess a texture that is sort of similar to rice noodles.
It's
I
like
guess
a
the closest
pumpkin.
thing I'd put it to. Yeah, it's kind of like the cross between a pumpkin and rice noodles. Butternut squash.
What
They're
the
just
hell?
Rice noodles? I've never heard that.
Rice noodles? Rice noodles are great.
No, I've never heard squash compared
Am I
to...
thinking of...
You might be thinking of spaghetti squash.
I might be thinking of spaghetti squash. I'm so sorry. I used to...
I've never heard of spaghetti
I used
squash.
to work at a grocery store, and all of these squashes were next to each other, and I don't eat squash. Not because I hate it or anything, but I was just... they all just kind of blend together for me. I am thinking of spaghetti squash. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
I need to try that now.
Yeah.
This motherfucker is speaking about spaghetti, then this other motherfucker posts an image of a fruit.
Yeah, I was literally just pulling up the entirely wrong squash. I did not know my squash lore. Butternut squash is pretty similar to a pumpkin, though. You can kind of cut it up the insides and cook it into fries, from what I remember.
Yeah, so we roasted a bunch, and then blended it up into a soup with curry powder and whatnot.
That sounds real delicious, honestly.
It was very good.
Yeah, any kind of pumpkin soup goes hard, but that sounds amazing. Butternut curry. Meanwhile, there's me. I had a coleslaw for dinner last night. And I'm talking like, oh, I found a quarter of a cabbage in the fridge, and it's like going floppy, and I'm like, oh, sweet, score. And then I like grabbed a whole bunch of carrots and grated the carrots and chopped the cabbage and put them all in a bowl, and then added some mayonnaise, and that was my dinner.
You know what? That still sounds pretty good to me.
I mean, it was pretty good.
Off topic, but I'm looking at images of butternut squash on Google Images. I want to make this now. Look at that. Look
Oh
at
my
that.
god.
Oh, damn,
that looks so good.
Oh my god.
That looks so goddamn
Damn,
good.
you're making me hungry, and I just had dinner.
I haven't eaten yet, so I'm gonna get too hungry.
My roommate works on a farm, so we get lots of fresh produce, and it's
Oh,
it's
dude.
really
That's
nice.
so cool. That's really nice. Oh, I'm so hungry now. Well, I guess to keep it rolling on like the topic of food, something I've been making recently. It's not anything too special, but I've just been making myself little smoothies in the morning with my blender that is way too loud. I'll take like a little bit of granola, a little bit of yogurt, some milk, whatever fresh fruit I really have around the house. Usually less citrusy fruit and more like berries, I guess, if I had to, narrow it down at all. And just take some of that. And, yeah, it's pretty good. Maybe put a little bit of whipped cream over the top or something. Delicious. And it's just like, I find that in the morning, I don't know if you ever feel this way at all, but I find that in the morning I'm like, I'm too tired to make food move down into my stomach. I just want to like drink something. So having a smoothie in the morning is very nice because you can just like not think about it,
Yeah, definitely.
That makes no sense, though.
It makes
You don't want. You're too lazy to munch the food, but you're not too lazy to prepare the whole.
No, it's not that you're lazy. It's that you're tired and you don't want to like put the effort into chewing. I don't know, but you like.
Well, but making a smoothie is such a hassle, though.
You can make the smoothie in advance also, though.
Yeah, you can kind of like make it in advance. I mean, a lot of my fruit is already chopped up and washed, so I don't really have to like worry too much about it. And the stuff that is not chopped up is just already small enough to just go in the blender on its own.
Okay.
Oh, actually, you want to know a fun fact? Or not really a fun fact, but just a fun little thing. Bananas are, if you eat bananas, I guess, if your bananas are starting to go brown, put them in the freezer and put them into smoothies. They will turn completely brown on the outside in the freezer, but they're still very good.
If you want to make like banana muffins or banana cake or anything, like a brown banana is better than a yellow banana.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because it's more sweet.
Yeah, it basically is
It's
like
sweeter, it's mushier,
It'll blend into the ingredients better. Yeah,
I see.
it's quite nice.
Banana war.
Yeah, banana war.
new lore dropping on this pod.
Well, speaking of foods, my mother-in-law... Not mother-in-law. I meant to say stepmother. I had a brain fart. I am not married, bro. Back to the episode. I bought an air fryer. I had never had any experience with air-fried food. I honestly have no idea how air fryers work. It's kind of magic to me.
I can explain later if you want.
Okay. The way I envision it, like since it's called air fryer, just imagine it spits air and somehow it fries the food.
Kinda, sorta.
It's a small convection oven. It blows hot air,
Yeah.
Oh,
which blows the oil around and also heats it up.
okay. That explains why it's so like the food comes out looking exactly like it would if it was made in the oven. So I guess that explains it.
Oh yeah, it's very good. It makes everything really crispy.
But where I wanted to get to is that today for lunch, we decided to have those pizzas that you buy. They're frozen and then you unfreeze them and put them in the oven. Except I just walk into the kitchen and I find this whole apparatus on top of the balcony, and I don't know how to explain it. It looks like a pizza incubator. It's so large and it has a sun level blinding light in the top of this pizza incubator. I had a hard time even looking at it. The light was so bright.
You got the sun in the palm of your hands on your your damn balcony.
No, truly, it truly was.
Did it cook the pizza at least?
It did. Like the pizza was cooked by a light.
Wait, so your air fryer was like? Wait, so you found a magic? You what you're
No,
saying
that's
is
not the air fryer. That's like a completely different apparatus that just spawns.
so you found like a magic light on your balcony, and you said instead of cooking the pizza in the oven, I'm gonna cook it on this magic
We
light.
call that light the sun.
No, when I came onto the kitchen, it was already cooking.
It was already cooking.
Yeah.
They cooked the pizza on the sun.
I don't know why, like, what engineered this thing, because the idea is basically the same as an oven, right? You heat up the air, and then the air cooks the food.
Yeah,
but,
yeah,
like,
no, it's
why a lamp instead of like the usual things that you use, like those coils?
Oh, it might just be smaller, and it's more practical to use a heat lamp or whatever.
No, I assure you that whole incubator was the size of an oven.
Wait, what is this thing? I'm having a hard time picturing in my head. So it's like, describe it to me. Is it just like sitting? Is it just like a
Imagine-
glowing beam of light sitting on a pedestal? What is it?
Yeah, basically, no. That pretty much describes it. And then it has glass all around, I'm guessing, so you don't,
So,
touch the goddamn lamp.
so
Like, it was big as fuck. It was the size of an oven. I don't understand what the advantage
I've
is.
never heard of that in my life. I don't know what that could possibly be, besides just a really weird lamp oven.
Yeah, me neither. It's funny, though. Like,
Yeah.
it took up so much space for something that could have been done in the oven. I don't understand what the advantage is.
Here's the
I hope
question:
there's
though.
some, like...
Does it taste good?
It tasted the same as if it had been made in the oven, yes.
I mean, are you sure it was the lamp that was producing the heat, and it didn't just have a huge lamp in it so that you could see the food?
I think it was the lamp that was producing the heat, because the lamp would turn off at a certain time intervals. I'm guessing to maintain temperature.
Yes, you're living in the future, where instead of ovens or air fryers, we just put our food into the big ball of light that sits out on the balcony and it cooks.
God himself, my pizza.
It comes down and cooks the food.
Honestly, the fact that we're talking about food is pretty related to the chapter and whatnot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
I can tell you that in the water treatment industry, one of the biggest technologies for disinfecting water is UV light. So you do have the idea of a big chamber that the water goes through, and there's just a big fuck off lamp in it that blasts it with light. But it is a very particular kind of light. Like, if I'm told, if you unscrew the port where the sensor goes in and you pull it out, it's like a nuclear bomb's gone off because of all the light.
Jesus.
But that's not the light you're seeing is not most of the light. Most of the light's concentrated on the UV spectrum that you can't see. So it's actually there's all this light, and that's the side effect light. But I'm struggling to think of any particular reason why you would use light to cook food.
Yeah, I don't
just
know.
to produce heat.
I'm looking up pizza air fryer on Google, and all it's giving me is pizza air fryers, as you'd expected. I can't find anything remotely similar to what I stumbled upon.
How is it shaped?
Yeah, I should have taken a picture. Unfortunately, I am now sitting in my car, so that's kind of
Well,
hard.
can you still see the balcony from here? Take a picture.
I cannot. I'm in my car.
I don't know where your car is in comparison to your balcony.
Clearly not in the kitchen.
Fair enough.
I mean, I found the sun itself in my kitchen. It wouldn't be that weird to find my car there as well.
Yeah. No. To tie it back into Higurashi, who do you think out of the main cast would own and use an air fryer?
Keiichi, with the amount of times he's left alone.
Dude, he would. Yeah. Well, honestly, he would probably still find a way to burn the damn house down, though, with an air fryer. Feel like Mion is too, I wouldn't really say she's gaudy, but too... I don't know if she'd use an air fryer,
I feel like Mion would make sense, just in the sense that she went to America and she tried some
Yeah.
air fried food, and she was like, "Oh, that's cool! I'm going to take this back and show my friends."
Yeah, and they
True.
would.
Yeah.
Then they would just fundamentally not understand what an air fryer is.
Oh, Chie, the teacher.
Chie, yeah.
She'll definitely own an air fryer.
Or her curry, yeah.
Can you air fry curry?
I suppose so. It would come out a little, and it would be crisp on the top, but assuming if you do it in the right way, you could just kind of stir that sort of crispy or top in to the rest of it and have a nice sort of crunch, I guess. I don't quite know. I've never done it before.
I mean, that's what you're supposed to do if you microwave like food, right? You like microwave it for a bit, then you pull it out and you stir it.
Yeah, it's the same idea as microwaving it.
One of my favorite microwave facts is that like the reason you can't defrost things easily in a microwave is because water absorbs microwave radiation better than ice does. So what happens is like at first it's just ice, so some of the ice melts, but then that melted ice, the water, absorbs all of the remaining like radiation. So you just blast one little spot of like melted food, and then the rest stays frozen. So that's why you get like massive like burnt spots and then like still frozen bits. Yeah.
Man, fuck microwaves.
Yeah. Speaking of heating, defrosting stuff in the microwave, I just want to give a little warning. Do not overestimate the ability of a microwave to defrost food.
Have you done something? What happened? What'd you do?
Mine caught on fire.
What?
One time mine caught on fire, yes. Defrosting meat.
You caught your microwave on fire? It creates heat from, like, radiation waves.
The goddamn microwave cooked before the meat.
How did you send the microwave on fire? It cooks with heat, with fucking not radioactive, but like fucking waves of energy to heat up the food. How did you create fire? Yeah, microwaves, exactly. I don't know why that didn't come to me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Was there like iron in the meat, maybe?
I sure hope not, because I ate it.
I mean, there's iron in meat in the way that there's blood in meat, but that's not enough to cause shouldn't be enough to cause the fucking microwave to catch on fire. It was probably maybe you just didn't use like a microwave safe plate or something, or a dish or whatever. You know what's a problem I have is I go to defrost my meat in the microwave. I promise I'll get off of this so we can just talk about the episode and not talk about food. But I cook my meat in the microwave and then I always leave it in for too long. You'll notice it starts to like become cooked on the outside. It's just like fuck. Now it's cooked on the outside from the damn microwave. I don't want to have to deal with this.
Okay, well, while we're still on the microwave talk, I just want to say, like, what you're saying, like, there's iron in meat, but, like, I just want to say the reason that doesn't matter is because it's not magnetic. Hemoglobin isn't magnetic. And that's the problem in a microwave. And I just want to mention that because, like, if the Marvel writers are, like, listening to this podcast, like, Magneto can't, like, move people around with, like, magnets in people's blood. Okay, so just putting it out there.
There's our engineer.
Because he's barokinesis, right?
Yeah. Well, isn't it? I mean, it's magnetic.
But like specifically electromagnetism, right?
Yeah, and like that wouldn't work on blood.
Oh, fascinating. So your blood the iron in your blood is just non-magnetic then?
Yeah, magnetism is a property specific to like solid metal. Hemoglobin is like, I guess, like dissolved atomic like metal ions.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it really does make sense that like the iron attached to hemoglobin isn't magnetic. Otherwise, whenever I went to take someone their MRI, blood would just pour out of them.
They would explode.
It would be funny, but
Des, you've seen the image of like the joke image of eating pennies before the MRI scan, right?
Eating what?
Eating pennies before the MRI scan. Let me go find it.
Please do not.
Okay, it's obviously don't do that. I'm trying to find the fucking joke image. Hold on. Why is the only link to it in Facebook? Well, here you go. Penny coins.
Oh, yeah.
You said that would happen pretty much.
No, but it's funny because if you have your jacket unzipped and you're working with the MRI, like your jacket just starts floating because the zipper is ferromagnetic.
Oh, really? That's neat.
You know what that reminds me of? Higurashi.
Yeah. Des, did they tell you the story at radiation school? Not sure what it's called, but did they tell you the story about like MRI used to be called, or it still is called,
nuclear magnetic resonance imaging? Yeah.
But like around the mid 50s, like people started actually getting kind of anxious about the idea of something being nuclear.
Yeah. So they started not calling it nuclear.
Yeah.
Because usually people associate nuclear with like
Nuclear fission.
nuclei fission and uranium
Yeah.
and radiation that makes you grow a third arm and shit. When like MRI has absolutely zero X or gamma radiation, like it has zero ionizing radiation.
Yeah, it's just one of
It
those.
is just a big magnet.
It's just one of those things where people are like, all right, here's your get ready for your nuclear scan. Like nuclear, and they run out of the room. The 50s.
Basically.
Should we move on?
Yes.
Should we move on to the bread and potatoes?
Yeah.
Wait, bread and potatoes?
Oh
Meat and
no!
potatoes.
Potatoes.
No,
Red potatoes.
don't get us back onto this food track, please.
Yeah, sorry, I'm hungry now. I'm thinking about bread and potatoes.
Potatoes.
All right.
No. Continue the thing. I'm not going to talk about bread and potatoes. Continue the thing.
Starch on starch.
Yeah.
Okay. Without further ado, day 2 of Higurashi Onikakushi.
Let's go.
Dear listeners, if you're still reading Higurashi, we're just not going to be bothered doing the Umineko Bookclub thing where we do a non-spoiler like Higurashi read through. So we will just be talking about the later arcs of this visual novel in this chapter.
Yeah.
So
The reason for that being that, like by itself as you're reading, there's just not much to analyze in Higurashi. So we're just not doing this power free part, so you can actually analyze Higurashi.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I thought it was just because we just couldn't be fucked, but
and that too, I guess.
Hey, there could be lots of reasons.
Lots of reasons.
all right. Keiichi wakes up and he meets Rena and Mion, and they, as they promised yesterday, they meet up to show Keiichi around the village, and it's Sunday, not Saturday, because they don't have Saturdays in Japan. I'm still reeling from that.
Yeah, 6-day school weeks, 6-day work weeks.
And it seems Rena has packed a huge lunch for them all, and Keiichi's like sweating, imagining like how they're gonna eat all of this food. Like it is, must be a huge like cooler bag that she's carrying around. And I hope they shared a load on that. By the way, like I don't like the idea of like one person having to carry that around.
They probably all made Rena carry it because that's what they would do.
No, they take
Yeah.
turns.
Yeah, I'd like to imagine they take turns.
I hope so. It's one of those things where like they mention her like straining under the load of it, and then they just never mention it again. So like,
Damn, you're having to carry all of our lunches for us? Oh well.
Me when I forget I'm an active player in my own life and I'm not just spectating.
so they start showing Keiichi around, and it seems like everybody already knows Keiichi, and he quickly figures out that he's like the only new kid in Hinamizawa for like a long time. So like if they see a new person, they're just like, oh, this must be Keiichi. And so he meets a whole bunch of people. He meets the nurse at the new clinic named Mio, who does not have a sprite unless you're on the PS3 sprites.
Yeah, I believe so.
I think that's correct.
She doesn't have a sprite in the original one.
Yeah, she doesn't have one in PS3 either. She just doesn't have one at this point.
I mean, it would kind of be a big reveal if a character is otherwise like
Yeah.
otherwise unimportant on show just randomly has a sprite in between all the other faceless people being introduced. That's one thing with it.
No, she'll have a CG later on, in this episode still. But yeah, in this part, Takano mentions that her hobbies are birdwatching and photography, which is literally the same as Tomitake. So I'm guessing this is just the default explanation any of the people from the right-wing organization that come here like get to give people when they're asked about their hobbies.
I guess it gives them a reason to always have a camera on them and be kind of on the lookout for things if anyone asks. Like, oh yeah, I love watching birds. And people too, but I don't have to answer that.
That could be it, yeah, because like you have to think about the mountain dogs. They'd probably need to take some photos here and there.
Yeah, it's probably
So-
it's like, oh, I'm just taking a picture of the bird. You didn't see it; it flew off. It was right past your window inside your house.
I'm just taking a picture of the kid in the dumping site.
I'm just imagining like Takano and Tomitake in like military school, and like Takano like leans over like, "Hey, can I borrow your homework?" And he's like, "Yeah, but change it a little bit so that so they don't catch on."
Yeah.
And that's how they ended up with their cover stories.
My hobby is bird.
Since they are dating, it could also be just like the hobbies of one pouring into the hobbies of the other.
It's just like, all right, I gotta think of a new hobby. Your hobby is bird watching and photography. Well, my hobby is photography and bird watching. So
My hobby is birdgraphy and photo watching.
Well, order matters, because if you think about it, on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, if you're, let's say, water and grass Pokemon, by default you become a water type when you terrestrialize, because it's the first type.
Oh,
but if
yeah,
you're
you're
grass
right.
and water, you become grass instead.
So you're saying that Takano would terrestrialize into a water type thing?
No, what? No, Takano would terrestrialize into bird watching type,
Bird watching type, fair enough.
because it's the first one she mentioned.
Well, no. But let's continue.
Whereas Person.
Alright, so after showing Keiichi around, they head over to the Furude Shrine for a picnic.
That's the name of one of
There
our.
ain't no way.
They saw us.
Oh
They
my
saw us
God.
at the segment.
Yeah.
We're going to Furude Shrine.
When we cry reference!
Ah,
Thank you, Rikishi!
ah. Sorry.
I just got it.
The mad lad actually mentioned this.
What if there was like one person in the audience who genuinely hadn't made that connection? Like, I don't know why it's called the Furude Shrine somehow, and they just got it just then.
They just thought we have like an unhealthy appreciation of Rika.
Yeah, we have that.
We have a shrine
That's
to Rika.
scary. that makes
Furude
the
Shrine.
title of the Furude Shrine so much scarier. I don't fucking know. God.
Yeah.
And there are people who have a Furude Shrine.
Yeah. Oh god, keep those people
no.
away from me. That's scary.
To the shrine, yes, for a picnic. And they meet Rika and Satoko there, which is great because there's too much food, and now there's like only slightly too much food. And then they have a picnic, and it's another just kind of cute scene. I don't really have like much to say except that it's like
It's nice.
fun. I like these. I like these
I will
scenes.
say that
They're like
yeah, Higurashi is very good about like developing. It's just like just letting the characters breathe and just have fun, and it makes the more tragic aspects hit even harder when they do hit. That's why I feel like you can't really remove a lot of the stuff that might not seem important, like the club games and the picnics and all that.
Because they're kids at the end of the day, and I feel like that's like, yeah.
Yeah, they're just silly little guys
yeah.
and girls.
I love that the competition they have at the end is like, all they need to do is say like, "Hey Rina, those rabbit apples look really good. Can I have one?" And she just gives them one. But they're like, "Oh, this is like somewhat a measurable thing we can measure. Let's have a competition over
Yeah.
it." And so it's all about like who can impress Rina the most
Yeah.
and get the most rabbit apples.
If I remember correctly, like Keiichi starts by like saying they're really good, so he starts munching on a bunch of them, and then I think it's Rika who's like, "Oh no, Keiichi, how could you possibly eat such a cute thing? Look at that," and then she doesn't eat it.
Rika says, "Poor Mr. Rabbit."
Yeah, Rika always
Yeah.
uses that tactic. I like these kinds of competitions between the club members. This isn't my favorite competition they have, but like just these dynamics are really fun. The fact that they are encouraged even to go all out and kind of like work around the rules,
Yeah.
not break them, but work around them. That's really, really fun to watch.
Reminds me, it's very reminiscent of just back before, like, at least for me, back when I was younger, just being like, hey, here's this random thing, here are the rules, let's go do it, okay, let's go. Pretty much,
Yeah.
It's fun.
I also like, I don't also like,
What?
I simply, they play it out as if Rena brought all of this food and just conveniently Rika and Sadako also popped up. But since we do know that Rika and Sadako do live there, I think it was planned, right? Do we agree on that? Rena did plan to make like a 5-person meal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it would have been kind of weird for the three of them to just waltz into the grounds where their two friends live and not even invite them.
We're gonna go eat
Yeah.
food in your lawn. You're implicitly not invited. Fuck off.
Which does make you wonder why they didn't just tell Keiichi that, and that's probably just because Mion wanted to tease him about like going on a date.
They don't
He's like,
tell Keiichi anything, though.
That's the theme of this episode. No one tells Ichi shit.
True.
Yeah, that's true.
Later on, later on in the series, they just pretty much call him and say, "Help, we're dying," and then he grabs a golf club and runs down the street, and he's like, "Oh, baseball, it's fine." Never tell man shit. They just equivalent of screaming into the Discord call, and then when he asks what's wrong, you just scream back until he shows up.
I mean, no, that scene you're referring to, I think it wasn't them who didn't tell him anything. I think it was him that got so worked up over the little information they were telling him. He
just fucking bolts.
Yeah, that's true. Like, keeping information from Keiichi is a big part of this episode. I don't know why they do this in this situation, though. Was it supposed to be, like, a surprise or something?
That's why I feel like this is an early loop where, like, people are less cognizant of, like, the lessons that they're supposed to be learning.
Oh, absolutely. It has to be. I guess we can never really know how many loops there have been, but it's gotta be like definitely gotta be another one, because they do some stupid ass shit sometimes.
I don't like the idea that, like, I know this is a popular idea, but I don't really like the idea that gradually through the loops they start, like, remembering other loops and being more prone to learn their lessons.
But isn't that, like, implicitly, like, isn't that kind of implicitly part of the story? You don't think so?
Not exactly, because the situations where they do remember past loops, it's in the last two arcs, which are heavily implied, not heavily implied, they are explicitly one after the other, and they are at the end of the story where it is implied that Hanyu is starting to, like, finally, after how many loops, starting to have pity on Rika and actually letting her escape the quote-unquote logic error that they mention in the manga.
Doesn't Keiichi remember in EP, in Arc 6?
In Arc 6?
I think he remembers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Near the blackboard when he hugs Mion.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Like, I think it's a very rare event, but it's...
Yeah.
I'd say, like, the more loops go on, the more likely it is that, like, memories can be accumulated. I mean, that's what Go said.
Even in the very first, like, thing we see in the original Higurashi is Keiichi dreaming about a previous kind of, like, loop where I think at least that was how I always read it, was that he was dreaming about a previous loop where something very similar, if not implicitly the same, happens at the end of Onikakushi.
I don't think he was dreaming about it, because when we swap to the next scene, he doesn't mention it.
Oh, that's true. He doesn't really mention it.
We mentioned someone apologizing.
I think you can take it either way.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he just forgot.
Maybe.
He was kind of busy.
That's true. Sometimes you wake up and you remember you had a dream, but you don't remember what it was.
You just don't remember, and you're like, oh.
But yeah, I was gonna say, I think Tsumi-Horobushi also happens right before Minagarashi, because I think that's at the end of...
Yeah, those ones are sequential.
Tsumi-Horobushi, that we realize there's a meta world in Higurashi and that transitions directly into Minagarashi.
You're gonna have to use numbers here. I don't know which ones those are.
6 is
Arc 6, at the end of it, I think that's when Meta, or I guess Higu Castel shows up, and that transitions us into Arc 7.
I think it's Arc 7.
I don't remember.
Where Rika shows up. Like, in the Sea of Fragments. I think that's how it starts.
Bro, I looked up... I literally looked up Higu Castel, and all the images are from you on Google Images, Des. It's all you. It's like your Furude Rika.
No, what?
Like, I'm not lying. I mean,
Higu Castel, let me look that up.
Besides the extremely irrelevant images, the first two images are both from you. One from your Reddit and one from your Twitter. Well, yeah,
I coined the term. Higu Castel is mine.
Your first guest invented it.
I wonder if Line U
Let's
is
go.
Line U also.
Oh my god, it's not just the first two images. Like the fourth one, I spent 3 days writing a stupid big theory on Hanya's power, blah, blah. That's me too.
That's you as well. What the fuck? Oh, that's funny.
I'm internet famous now. Let's go.
You already were. You own you're the de facto leader of the most epic podcast ever.
Let's go! I should have put that on my resume.
Where were we again?
We were picnicking. eating, playing,
Yeah,
fighting.
we were
picnicking.
picnicking.
We were picnicking, yeah.
Yeah.
So after the picnic, Rena and Keiichi are left on their own, and as they're walking home, Rena takes Keiichi on a detour to an old abandoned construction site. The site is full of dumped rubbish, and Rena goes treasure hunting. So Keiichi's left just standing there in the middle of an old abandoned construction site full of rubbish, and
Talk about a weird date.
and yeah, and while he's just standing around, he spots a man taking photos of him. The man introduces himself as Tomitake, and he explains that he's here to photograph some birds, but he just couldn't resist taking a photo of just some random youngster hanging around at an abandoned construction site.
I think he mentions that Keiichi just looked really aesthetic or something.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly I can kind of get it. Like, you know, it's like probably like close to sunset.
Yeah.
At least that's what the like colors and the backgrounds are. And
Probably a nice shot, honestly.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know much about photography, but I'm pretty sure it's like established etiquette that you like ask somebody before you take the photo, not after you take the photo.
Yeah.
In Japan, actually, it's all smartphones make a noise when they have photos taken. So it's like all that cameras, I think, have to have a shutter sound.
Oh, really?
That is, I think, the same. That is the same reason. I think I don't know if the 3DS does it, but the PS Vita will make a noise when you like. A lot of Japanese handhelds will make a noise if you take a picture with them. Well, you know, what you're saying is pretty much he violated the law and he deserved everything to happen to him one day later.
Exactly.
He's already breaking the law on a much bigger magnitude. I don't think he cares about that.
I know, but he deserves it for taking someone's picture without asking first as his worst crime. Everything else is second.
So Keiichi jokes that he's here to check up on a dismembered corpse that was buried here long ago.
Who jokes about that? What's wrong with him? Who says that to a random person?
He has a very dark sense of humor.
That's something teenage me probably would have like said.
That's probably I'm gonna go look at a dismembered corpse, and then he just looks at me and he's like, "Oh, so you heard about the incident?" And he's like, "What?"
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
"What?"
So it's just unfortunate that like he just randomly said something incredibly accurate to something that really did happen.
Yeah.
It suddenly turned incredibly real for Keiichi.
I mean, hey, could also be that previous loop knowledge interacting in like a really weird way.
Yeah, so Tomitake takes him completely seriously. He says it was quite a disturbing incident. They still haven't found one of the arms, which yeah, that's immediately terrifying to Keiichi, who was just like joking around.
Man's just trying to chill, and he starts fucking trauma dumping on him.
And then he's given no other context.
Yeah, because Rena comes back and Tomitake takes the opportunity to slip away. Rena explains that she found a Colonel Randy doll in the rubbish pile, and Keiichi promises to help her dig it out. While they're looking, he asks her about the severed arm comment, and Rena just shuts him down immediately. Just like, nope, nothing.
I just moved here.
Nothing happened.
I'm new.
Don't know anything.
I am going to keep looking at you with my cat eyes until you stop talking.
Yeah. Like, she does follow up with the whole, like, oh, I moved here, like, you know, last year, so, I wouldn't know about anything that happened before that. But she, like, the way she leads is just like, don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
She's just like,
Rena just panicked there. She wasn't expecting it.
No, I mean, especially after a day of picnicking.
It's really just like, hey, so did someone die here? No politics in general. Shut up.
Especially if, like, over the weekend, like, Mion and Rena were planning to, like, have this weekend to, like, introduce him to the town and, like, really focus on the good parts, and then for him to now be focusing, I'm sure she's, like, probably really sad.
Yeah, I feel like it still probably made it worse rather than just not just clear up the confusion. Be like, yeah, this thing happens and it kind of sucks, but also, yeah, I guess if you moved to a new town and your neighbor told you, hey, so this guy was like chopped up into 50 pieces and they never found his arm, and it's just like, you would just be like, well, hey, can we leave now?
My coworker told me about someone who got murdered in the alley behind my workplace.
Jesus.
Oh.
Yeah, no. I know how that feels. I've had some similar experiences. It's just
What the fuck?
yeah,
America, land of the free, but also not America for you.
Oh, that's true.
yeah.
That's true. Well, I guess another reason they really didn't want Keiichi to know is that if the order of the background images that are shown when they are going to the dumping site is anything to go by, that means Keiichi's house is like at the edge of the village near the dumping site.
Oh,
So
that's right. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, because it had to be built on a field.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So like it isn't exactly right next to it because there's a bunch of backgrounds that are passed when they are going to the dumping site, but it does seem to be on the edge of the town. Like the rest of the town is on the other way, like on the opposite way of the dumping site. So like Keiichi's house is relatively to the town, is near the dumping site. They didn't want him to like get frightened.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. You wouldn't want to tell your friend, "Hey, by the way, your stupid house is your stupid big house. It's built right next to the corpse dumping site."
Yeah.
I guess the other thing is, like, it would definitely color his impression of Mion.
Oh,
because,
yeah.
like, I think it's generally, like, I think Rena would probably just, like, assume, oh, yeah, it was probably, you know, Oreo.
Yeah.
Or I can't say it. Her name's not Oreo, but anyway.
Oreo.
It was probably...
I think it's Oreo, I believe. Right?
Oreo, yeah.
Something like that.
Isn't it Oreo?
Oreo. I think Oreo is a fine pronunciation.
Or Oreo is a fine pronunciation. Okay, I'm sorry.
Let's just say Oreo. It's funnier.
I mean, she's not going to be relevant for like 50 episodes of this, so it's fine.
Yeah.
You know, we'll
But I mean,
figure it
I think it's generally accepted that, like, in the town, it would probably be, like, generally accepted if you really, like, interrogated someone and they like, told you the truth. Like, they'd probably be like, yeah, it was probably the Sonozakis. Like, I mean, you know, it
probably
kinda makes sense.
You know? Yeah. I mean, hey, if there's one big scary gang in town,
Yeah.
well, not really a gang, you know what I mean, but like one big scary group of people
Mafia.
in town
Yeah.
that has the mafia, and the mafia has their classic torture shed.
Yeah.
And they're just like, that's just recreational. We don't use that. It's like, what are you gonna think about?
It's just a historical
That's just
site.
recreational torture chamber. That's just where we store our winter clothes, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so someone got brutally murdered and dismembered. Let's see the list of suspects. So we have Mr. Johnny over there who's growing cabbages, and then we have the fucking Yakuza.
Rika also has a torture chamber,
Yeah, no, Rika has a torture chamber too. That's right.
but it's locked.
Does the third guy have a torture chamber? What's his name again? Fucking
Kimiyoshi.
third
Kimiyoshi.
family- Yeah, Kimiyoshi. Does he have his own torture chamber?
No, but he has hemorrhoids, canonically.
Does he canonically have hemorrhoid? That sucks. I hope he gets
He
better.
does. That's why he goes to Okinomiya in Miyakashi. He's going to a doctor's appointment because he has hemorrhoids.
I forgot that's important to the plot. That sucks.
I mean, the other thing that, like, is that the Sonozakis have an active policy of, like, not claiming responsibility but not denying it either, which makes everyone go,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, okay, yeah, they probably did it.
So that they can get the reputation from everything but not have the legal repercussions. of
I
it.
also feel like it's probably, and maybe this is just looking into it too much, it's that if the cops come around asking, the best thing is to just say nothing at all.
Yeah.
Rather than make a definitive statement.
True.
So it could just be the general rule of non-assertance from like, hey, did you do this? I'm not fucking talking to you, you're a cop.
I mean, we haven't gotten to this part yet, but the cops really do show up and Keiichi just starts
Yeah.
blabbing, so...
No, Keiichi immediately starts, but to be fair, Oishi's kind of an asshole.
We'll get to
We'll get
Oishi,
to
yeah.
him.
Oishi knows how to get information.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I mean,
Yeah,
I mean,
actually.
it's very explicit that, like, it's even said, not to get too much into Oishi, but it's, you know, it's said that he knows how to give people injuries in a way that is not
Yeah.
going to be, like, at all really noticeable as something that he did, you know?
I mean, don't we see it something like that in like Arc 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, he kicks Keiichi.
In Arc 2, yeah, and it's like one of the things I like the most about this like very introduction to like Higurashi, these first two chapters, is that like Oishi is like completely different in the two. Like the first one, he's Keiichi's anchor.
Oh, yeah, you get, like, a completely different, like, introduction to the same character through multiple different lenses. It's very interesting.
I could talk about Oishi all day, but I'll I'll hold on to it because he does come up later, and we can talk about him then.
Yeah.
Rena and Keiichi had found this Colonel Randy doll. It's buried deep, and Keiichi asks her about the incident, and she just shuts him down. And then comes up with the excuse, which like feels very suspicious to Keiichi. And then that's the end of the second day. We have 2 tips. The first tip is called Maibara Manor. And the club is like trying to find out if Keiichi is like super rich, if his family's super rich, because the house that his folks bought is
Have
like
a manor.
really big by Hinamizawa standards.
Could have sworn his dad was a porn artist, but apparently he's just a painter.
No, he's just a...
No, it is heavily implied in later arcs that he is a hentai artist. I guess
Wait, he's a hentai... I never got that. I always just thought he was a cool painter, dude.
Okay, I'll give you the reasons why it is heavily implied. He doesn't let Keiichi into his office, and he goes to Angel Mart for quote-unquote work reasons to get inspiration.
Bro, those are children working there. You can't fucking do that. Well, shouldn't even be children working at Angel Mart to begin with. Yeah, not the guy showing up there. It's probably the problem that they have children working at Angel Mart at all, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
the other people are also a problem, but
yeah.
It is Japan. He could just be an artist for like CGs for a visual novel. You know?
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, like, because I always got the interpretation that he was just a cool artist dude. Because in one of the later chapters, you see he like goes to Hinamizawa. I can't remember if it's a spin-off like chapter or if it's just like in the original story. But if it's like he goes to Hinamizawa, like, oh wow, this hill is really beautiful. I want to paint here. I should build a house here. I don't remember which chapter that is.
That's CP8, Matsuri Bayashi.
he might also paint, but his career could be his career could be a hentai artist.
Does he have a sprite in any of the...
No.
He
has a manga panel.
He also shows up in the anime.
I mean, he shows up in the anime and the manga. I don't know if his look is consistent there at all.
It's consistent in the anime, at least, maybe.
Can I ask... This is a little bit off topic, but I just want to ask, is there, like, a point in like maybe episode 3 or something, one of the question arcs where Keiichi starts going on a rant about the Xbox in the original release?
Yes.
Like, does that happen? Okay.
I don't think there's a reason for that happening. I think it makes sense in canon.
No, he just goes on a random fucking Xbox rant.
As much as it doesn't feel like it makes sense, it actually does, because Higurashi is retroactively written, heavily implied to be a story written by Oishi and Kasaka. Probably not a one-to-one correlation between what they wrote and the Higurashi we read, but some similarities have to be there. So it makes sense in canon, but I do think it's a horrible fucking decision, because even today I saw people complaining about that on the subreddit, and there's no major reason for that to be there.
It was the fucking Xbox rant?
Yeah, it's the Xbox in Higurashi.
I think it's funny, but also...
It's Toho in Umineko.
I love it.
Higurashi, I feel like, especially has a lot of, like, just kind of fourth wall break moments. Umineko definitely does, but I feel like Higurashi has more, like, has more of them. At least more, like, severe feeling ones. But hey, I like it too.
Wait, Des, is that...
I don't.
Is that theory that you said, is that, like, something you've heard other people talk to you about? Because, like, that was, like, my one... big controversial theory that I like thought of when I was reading Higurashi, because I read Umineko first.
Wait, you mean the Oishi and
written by
Akasaka
Oishi?
thing?
Yeah, that the whole thing's a story written by Oishi and Aka.
I mean, don't they at the end of Himatsubushi say like we should find out the truth? I mean,
they do.
That's kind of heavily implying they eventually write something regarding Hinamizawa.
Yeah, okay,
I can totally see like Oishi writing the facts, and then Akasaka, because Akasaka did know Rika and felt indebted to her. I can see Akasaka writing kind of like the heart of the story, actually writing a story from Oishi's report. Like Oishi writes the report, and then Akasaka makes a story out of it.
Okay, that's sick. I never knew that anyone else like agreed with me there, but like, I mean, it's not like a difficult.
No, I think it makes sense.
There's also a YouTube Let's Player named Joe Chrono who has a similar
Yeah.
Oh, really?
theory in his Let's Play.
All right. Well, carrying on with the tip. So the club wants to know if Keiichi is rich or not, because the house he bought is pretty big, and pretty much all we learn is that he's got a big house, but it's just because like half of the house is a studio.
Yeah.
But also, compared to the average villager, Keiichi has more money.
Keiichi's gentrifying the fucking neighborhood.
Yeah.
Get his ass out of here.
My impression is that he probably like that my bros are like pretty well off comparatively.
It is said that the reason half the house is a studio is because Keiichi's father wants to eventually start opening like art showcases, and so that would allow for many people to go in there. But like, do you do hentai art showcases? And would many people drive up to the countryside?
If you invited the whole village to see your hentai, they fucking come to your house and burn it down.
Like, I just don't understand. Like, who would drive up to the countryside to see?
I think the in-universe explanation, it has to be that he does both. He's just a very talented artist.
I guess.
Probably. We never see his art in the series, so I have no idea what it looks like. At least I don't think we do. Do we ever see his art in the series at all?
I don't think so.
I hope.
I don't think so.
No, I will not say this take. I will keep it for myself.
Okay, that's always a good sign.
I am backpedaling.
He's the one who drew the Ryukishi sprites.
Yeah, the hentai is just a side gig. He's like his main thing is drawing sprites. Tip 2 is the dam site murder. It's basically like a newspaper article. We learn that 6 suspects were detained by the police on suspicion of murder. That they were in the construction site workroom at 9 p.m. when the site overseer was brutally killed and dismembered. One of the suspects confessed, which led to the arrest of everyone else except one who was still at large at the time of the newspaper writing.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun.
And now after once you've read the whole thing, you're like, we know what happened to him.
We know what happens to him. He gets unfortunate mandatory brain surgery, and he doesn't survive, right?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. No, he doesn't.
Because Takano has to keep getting victims.
Yeah, he was Takano's first victim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, he was the first victim. For whatever reason, I thought it was the Furudes, but no, that guy was first, wasn't he?
Technically second, because I guess the other murder happened before.
What other murder?
Like not of Takano's murders, but of just like the murders.
What murders?
The dam head.
Yeah, it started with the dam with the guy that was never found.
Right, but then this is so these are the 6 guys who killed the other guy, and then they all hit a body part. 5 of them were arrested. One of those 6 guys was captured by Takano. So the murder of the dam guy happened first, and then the murder of this guy.
Ah, okay, yeah. But he was the first person to be on Ikakushi. That's what I meant.
He was the first. Yeah. No. I guess that's a good way to think about it. He was the first. They were the first 2 people to be Onikakushi, because it's that one has to die and one disappears, right?
Only when Shion explains it.
Okay.
Yeah, because like the only thing that happened is that one guy died. He was going L5, and so they killed like the people who were working with him had to kill him. So to distribute the guild, each of them was to bury a body part. Then all of them were found out, but one, and that's the one that was never found out. He was never found out because Takano caught him.
Yeah, he was demoned away.
So he was on Ikakushi. Yeah, because he was also developing L5.
Did we ever do that like Queen host video?
Nope, we never did. Like, we never did the Queen Carrier episode where Horsegam defends that the Queen Carrier is a lie, and I defend no. Takano was kinda correct. She only messed up one of the details. Queen Carrier is still real. Believe me, trust.
Okay, but Des, where does anomalous spinal cord
yeah, I
fall
don't know.
into it?
You got me on
Fuck that stupid fucking point. I have to go on a goddamn right here. I hate that shit from Go where they just randomly say anomalous spinal cord.
And veer.
That pisses me off so much because I thought about that so goddamn much, and then the answer is just sorry, nothing.
Is that where that came from? It came from Go because I read Ciconia. I read Ciconia expecting it to come up.
No,
no, it doesn't.
Okay, so when first referring to Satoko in Go, she I can't remember what she calls herself.
Awa.
Is it like
Awa.
Awa, yeah, refers to her as anomalous spinal cord. Like I don't remember what the number is, but it's
LD
like a long.
3105.
Oh my god, do you know it from
I'm
memory?
genuinely impressed that you can remember
It's
that.
34.
Oh, is it 34?
105. It's Satoko.
Oh.
Because San.
Right.
Oh my god.
Huh.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
I didn't know that actually. That's really interesting. Wait, so it's just Satoko's like sort of name written in like written in numbers.
It's LD Lambda Delta Satoko. Yeah. Ingoro Awase, I think, is what it's called.
Huh, I did not know that. Anyhow, I'm sorry to derail it. I just still fucking hate that little moment from Go, and I have to bring it up every time.
No, that's fine. I understand.
So is it not just a reference to the fact that she has like Hinamizawa syndrome, or like
Could be. We don't
No,
know.
because they specifically call her anomalous spinal cord. And okay, and not to get into it too much, but spinal cords are very important in
In Ciconia, yeah.
in a very interesting way that I cannot really get into at all without massively spoiling Ciconia, so I won't.
yeah, true. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Read Ciconia so we can get Ciconia Part 2, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, every person that reads it is 1 second closer to release.
every week Ryukishi like checks how many new people have like downloaded Ciconia, and he's like, okay, I can write that many words.
I can write every person that downloads it as one word for part 2.
In the time that we've been waiting, he released all of either Higurashi or Umineko. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He like Umineko came out I think within the span of 4 years, and it has been 4 years now. I think actually almost on the
I think it's
nose.
been 5.
Like coming up this October, right? It'll be 4 years.
Yeah, I think it was October 6th.
It blows my mind that Ciconia came out pre-COVID. Like,
Yeah.
feels like two very different like worlds.
Oh yeah.
World-defining event.
Totally. Let's continue.
So that's the end of day 2, and that's the end of all of the tips. So do we want to move on to day 3, or like?
Maybe not. Maybe not.
I mean, no, you don't think so? We are
I'm
like
fine with either.
we already are at an hour 9 minutes. It's whatever you want to do, you know?
Because otherwise it's going to derail the rest of the, the planning we have for the episodes.
Right.
Yeah, totally. I mean, hey, why don't we just do that then? Sort of wrap up, I guess?
Not wrap up yet. I still have more thoughts. But
Okay.
I expect the next episodes will cover more chapters, because last episode we covered 3 chapters, but it was because it was the beginning. We had a lot of thoughts regarding the story in general, the characters' introductions, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And as we can see, we're only an hour into this, and we've covered 2 chapters and had half an hour of talk about air fryers. So we can definitely cover more chapters and not be rushed at all.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so we can have a shorter episode this time, and then next episode we start covering 4 chapters per episode, or 5.
Yeah, and things will start picking up pace as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Unless we have more to say about air fryers.
Yeah.
And we will.
So all I have now is thoughts that start getting into Umineko.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Umineko spoilers,
So
shall we?
yeah,
All right.
wider When They Cry spoilers starting now.
All right. So
If
now,
you've been a no spoilers reader until now, thank you for watching.
Yep.
And we'll see you next time.
see you.
Bye.
And something else cries.
So, now that we're in Umineko spoilers, I wanted to say 2 things. One of them is my personal experience with Higurashi, and the other is a very interesting correlation with Umineko that I found. Which one do you want to hear about first?
Let's hear them in that order.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So I read Higurashi after Umineko, and one of the only things I'd heard about Higurashi was a theory that, in hindsight, is very blatantly wrong, but was a theory that Umineko was a story being read in the Higurashi world. And so upon being introduced to the club members, I couldn't help but notice some similarities between the characters, and I started thinking that off camera the club members would just pick up this play and start, playing the play.
Yeah, totally.
playing the play, and like their own personalities would start pouring into the characters that they were playing. And yeah, I will proceed to list off all the similarities if you have nothing to say up until now.
Can I guess one of them? Because I connected these two characters when I went from Higurashi to Umineko.
Okay.
Yeah, what is it?
Did you connect Mion and Jessica?
Oh, I didn't, but I'm interested.
Mion and Jessica give me so many similar vibes between their whole, like, masculine, feminine type thing, their ponytails.
Oh yeah.
They do actually.
And the fact that they have like different people they are in different scenarios.
Yeah.
Totally. Well, both of them have like at home they have to be much more formal and like respectful, I guess.
They're both heirs.
Respect inducing. Yeah. They need to keep this face about them.
Yeah.
And then also the third character I relate to them is a Ciconia character, Gunhild.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's a separate thing.
Ooh. I'm interested in that though.
I also kind of agree with the Gunhild point. Gunhild is a very interesting character. Probably the most, maybe not the, well, okay. I can't go on the Ciconia rant. Can't go on the Ciconia rant. You know?
do we want to leave Ciconia thoughts for after the Umineko thoughts? So you can go full into it?
Yeah. Yes. Back to you, Des, though. I want to hear your connections.
So, Rena would be playing Maria, I think. Or I thought, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Because of... there's actually... Rena and Maria are the characters with the most similarities. First, there's the focus on repeating phrases. For example, Maria going ooh, and Rena going how, you know, as well as a hyperfixation for inanimate objects. For Maria, it would be Saktaro and all the other toy animals, and for Rena, it would be Coronel. What's it called, Randy, and all the other junk she collects.
Yeah.
And both of them have problems with their mothers,
Yeah.
and both of them have an absent parental figure, and both of them have one parent that's a clothing designer.
Des, I
Both
like...
have a fixation with the supernatural.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna get into that. Maria with Beato and Rena with Ayashira-sama.
I like your idea, but for some reason, this, like, not to discredit your idea at all, but I'm just thinking of if this is a play in universe, imagine just being in this play and this character that is made for you is just actively blowing up all your flaws. You just go up to your friend, you're like, why the fuck did you write this?
No, I think my idea was that they were just playing and improvising upon the script as they were going. Like they just start trauma dumping on themselves, I guess.
The people playing Higurashi are also playing a part. Like they're all common actors, but like
That's true too.
two different roles.
Both Maria and Rena have like are very tied to the theme of forgiveness, because Maria is constantly forgiving her mother even though she's very shitty to her, and Rena is like in a constant fight with herself to convince herself to forgive her friends, even though in her mind they did nothing to help Satoshi. That's the whole reason why she goes on this rant in EP6 Sumihoroboshi.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much the end of Rena and Maria.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of similarities between the two. Then with Mion, Mion would be playing Beato because both like mind games and trickery and all of that, and both like to tease others. And then later in
Watanagashi.
not Watadamashi, let's go, fuck. Watanagashi, yes. My god, Go has corrupted my brain. And then in Watanagashi, you learn how Mion's composure just breaks apart when she realizes she has feelings for Kichi, which is very Beato core.
Yeah.
And then also the fact that the whole thing with Mion and Shion is basically Protosh canon in terms of what it brings to the story.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then Keiichi would play Butler because both are easygoing perverts and have catchphrases in English. Dameda Zen, see you again, Kuru ni nare, you know. Now that I think about it, Dameda Zen isn't in English, but it's still a catchphrase. So.
Yeah.
And then Satoko and Rika are just obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they obvious? Because what does Takano play?
What? Takano? Takano isn't playing with them. She isn't a club member.
I can't get into Lambda Delta being these people right now.
Okay, so it's just the core like club members. Do you think that are the common actors?
Yeah, this is something that I like. This is a very early in my first read-through of Higurashi thought, because like I just went into it knowing about this theory that at the moment,
Right.
at the time I didn't know wasn't right.
I think even if it's not entirely correct, it's still it's just from like a writing perspective, I guess it's an interesting way to think about it, as like sort of Umineko as an exploration of of some of the not entirely explored aspects of characters from Higurashi, and sort of fleshing that out into a lot of Umineko, because I can totally see what you mean by the Mion and Beato comparisons, where like a lot of Beatrice, especially a lot of Beatrice's later behavior reminds me of that scene that you mentioned with Mion sort of coming to terms with her feelings for Keiichi, and how to compartmentalize and understand them. I think that's a very interesting read of the two materials.
And now that we're discussing it, it's also making me realize that, I've countless times tried to actually start writing something and then dropped it because I didn't feel it was up to the standard that I liked. But now looking at this, I'm starting to feel like, well, it's fine if what we're trying to write, me or anyone else, isn't as good as we envisioned it at first, because clearly Ryukishi started with something and that improved upon it on a later work, so I guess our first work doesn't have to be Umineko level.
And then you can make it worse.
No, I mean, hell, yeah.
With Go.
You can do that if you want to. I was going to say, hell, like, Des, if you want to know a really sort of more famous example of that, like, I mean, obviously you've heard of the game Undertale, right?
Yes,
of course, right? Like,
what the fuck?
Undertale was only really initially made as a sort of like, I want to just
an
make a
Earthbound
game
ROM hack.
and then make like, well, not even that. Like, I'm more so just talking about like, Undertale was made as just like, I just want to make a more simple game so that I can understand what I want to do later in Deltarune, Yeah, Toby Fox says
it came to him in a dream. Deltarune came to him
in a dream, yeah.
Really?
Well, Deltarune fucking owns, so...
Yo, where's Deltarune? This is just like Ciconia all over again.
No, it's okay. Deltarune is not like Ciconia. Deltarune's actually getting worked on. Fucking Ciconia is like, sorry, people are suffering in real life. I can't release my media where people suffer. Fuck you,
Ryukishi's just like... It's like that meme where it's like, before we do X, we have to focus on Y. Like, Ryukishi's just like, before I write Ciconia Phase 2, we have to focus on the entirety of human suffering. Once we've done that, then I can work on...
When you end suffering as a concept, I will release Ciconia Phase 2.
Humanity doesn't deserve Phase 2 yet. There's still war in the world.
I wonder if, I've always, and this is kind of off topic, it's alright, I guess, if this gets cut, but I wonder if just, like... Maybe he initially planned to release it, and then sort of the more recent events of just... Not to say that things weren't happening before, but everything that's happened has sort of just changed his view on how he feels about Ciconia as a story and what he wants to do with it, and maybe just... I don't know. Not to say, like, I still...
I just think it's so more relevant.
Yeah, no. I completely understand that it's more relevant. Like, totally, I agree. It's even more relevant than when it fucking released. And I think it'd be better if he just released it. But I wonder if it's just one of those things where, like, due to just numerous things, multiple kind of drastic changes that have happened over the past few years, he's just decided, like, probably won't release it. And he still said it's coming, so I don't know.
No, that's a very reasonable reason. I just wish he was honest with us, if that's the reason.
I wish he was honest with it and he didn't fucking lie all the time. Yeah, that's one thing. Okay, maybe that's a little bit mean, but you know what I mean. When that man is like, yeah, we're still working on fucking Ciconia Phase 2. He is not. He is absolutely.
We just need Silent Hill to come out, and then we'll be clear.
How many layers of copium are you on?
I would totally understand if Ryukishi was like, like, I had this whole, like, idea planned out for what Ciconia was going to be, and then the COVID-19 pandemic happened, and now I'm questioning all of the things I believe, and, like, I'm wondering if the things I'm, like, I'd get that, like...
But he did that with EP 7 and 8 of Umineko, where BT died. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I don't
I didn't
know.
know that.
It like he completely changed up the plan and flow of the story, and that's why many people think that like EP7 is a funeral, like in memory of his co-writer.
Damn.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
Never
I
thought
really
about
like
that.
EP7, but we can get into that.
Well, speaking of funerals, my PC is about to die. So,
Oh,
so you tell me your thoughts then in the remaining 12% battery I have.
I think Higurashi is very good. I like it. I wish it was less sus.
I think it's pretty neat, and I wish I could read it at work without looking like a pervert.
Oh my god, I have an experience to say on that. I don't know if I think I've mentioned this before. Where I watched Higurashi. I was eating my lunch at work, and I was watching it was like the Go episode that was like the worst one, episode 16 or something.
The intestine
The
one?
where. Yeah, the intestine one. I was eating, and I just stopped eating halfway through, and I was like, I'm not gonna eat anymore. I'm just gonna sit here.
But then-
Oh my god. Okay. I'm closing the recording on my laptop. I'm gonna keep going on my phone just so I can keep going as long as possible. But do you want to get into the Gunhild thoughts now?
Oh, Gunhild thoughts. Yeah, we could get into that. I'm not sure if mine are super coherent, so if someone else would rather go, then, you know.
Mine are also not super coherent. My things are more relating to
Yeah.
Mion and Shion and Gunhild over Jessica and Gunhild, but
Fair.
just because I think both Mion and Shion combined, personality-wise, make a good idea of like the duality of Gunhild's character, I think.
Oh, combined. Okay.
Like, I feel like you have like the tenacity, the mischievousness, the distrusting side of Shion, but you also have like the team player aspect of Mion, because she is like in the Kete and and they have green hair
Yeah. No.
and also parallel processing.
And I guess you also have the cuck aspect, because
Pronouns.
Mion, like on the arcs where there's romantic tension between Keiichi and Rena, Mion just gets absolutely shoved. And even in the arc where Mion is the focus, she isn't given the doll goes to Rena. And Mion doesn't say anything about it. She doesn't like revolt or anything. Just like Gunhild, even though she has feelings for Miao, she doesn't say anything about it. Even
What?
though
Does she?
it is
Fucking-
implied,
you're
right?
making this shit up right now.
The-
You
I-
just-
on the
you
data
just- you
fragments,
just set
I
a
think.
fucking conspiracy.
I believe you.
I clicked into place 2 and I didn't tell you nothing. No, I'm pretty sure it comes up in the data fragments.
I just need a citation.
You spent too long huffing the theory gas, Des.
Which one does Gunhild like? Meow or Meow?
You're fucking kidding me. This is a trick question.
yes.
This is a trick fucking question.
Like the main character one, not the one that Jaden is dating.
Just wanted to check.
The male presenting one.
The thing is, though, I remember Gunhild. She has an aside where she talks about how like Meow and Jaden both just don't get it, that she had to like work and struggle and like and scrape her way to the top, and like these two just like float in, and she kind of hates them for it.
Yeah, which
That's the bit I remember.
that does go back to Zeshka's two-face thing. I think she genuinely cares for Jaden and Meow as friends, but she also has to put up with their mere existence that enrages her, I guess, because they're privileged and she had to work so hard just to get where she is, and they just got handed them for free.
Very Shion pilled in that way.
They were just handed the privilege for free for being born with aptitude.
They were bred for it.
Yeah.
They were bred for it. Oh my god, Beato was bred for Yoshinomiya family too. No. And Jessica loves Kano.
I've been explaining Umineko to my roommate because I've given up on trying to get her to read it, and how to talk about the Ushiromiya family baby farm.
Oh my god.
The baby farm.
Well, folks, we promised you bread and potatoes.
I'm glad they all got blown up. Honestly. Fuck that family. Well, Maria she just happened to be there. If she had just stayed home sick, then well, she probably would have had a better time.
No, it was everyone's fault. Everyone was at
Yeah.
fault.
I think if Maria had survived, she would just have made Angie's life worse because she would argue with Eva even more.
You think so? I don't know. I feel like there could have been a world where she could have survived and they could have been still really close. I don't know.
I would be very curious how Maria would grow up. Like,
Well, you know what they say about adult Maria.
there's a world where she like never gives up. She never gives up the magic thing. She's like a psychic healer who like has like crystals everywhere. And like I can see that like rubbing Ava just completely the wrong way.
Well, Ava
like,
would lose it. Ava would absolutely lose it. But Ava is also a complete bitch.
Yeah. But like I think there's also a world where like Maria grows up and like I don't know that it's necessarily guaranteed that she doesn't just one day just go, oh, magic. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the coping mechanism I had for like that horrible, miserable life I had.
I'm so sorry that I'm sending this, but adult Maria exists on the power scaling and is like top tier apparently.
There are tiers to Umineko. There's an Umineko. There's power scaling.
I don't believe in any of it, but I think it's so funny. Oh, bye, Des.
By Des.
Oh, yeah.
Des got so offended by power scaling, which honestly fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly fair. I see power scaling and I leave.
I just think it's so funny whenever I see them, and it's like, you missed the entire point of this story.
Yeah.
Umineko power scale. That reminds me, I saw this one like article before I even finished Umineko that like put like God from Umineko in like the top 10 strongest anime characters, and I had to show my friends, is this even real? And they were just like, no, I don't know where they got this from.
It's
this is
Featherine.
all made up. No, it wasn't even talking about Featherine. It was like some weird esoteric ass shit. I'll have to find the screenshot again. I don't know what that article was talking about.
Should we sign off, I guess? We've been rambling for a little bit.
We can finish up our thoughts on Higurashi.
Sure.
Yeah, and Des left a final message.
Yeah.
His final message goodbye. He said he was going to say Maria surviving would make Angie's life worse because Angie only started arguing with Ava later on, but Maria would actively argue with Ava from day one.
Correct, yeah.
And yeah, probably, yeah.
Maria and Ava would be a horrible combination of mother-daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be very interesting what that would mean for Angie, though. Like, I could see her like taking a middle spot because of that, or I could also see her just continuing to have the ideas that she did have.
Yeah, totally. I guess we shouldn't ramble too much about just Umineko, but it's been. Yeah, it's been very fun. I look forward to doing more of these.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I ever interrupt the summary too much.
Oh no, it's been good.
It's what the podcast is for.
Well, this has been the second Higurashi Book Club. Look forward to the third one, hopefully soon. I'm your lovely host Kirby, and
it's me as Corey,
and this has been me, Horsefry,
and Des was here too.
And Des was here too.
Well, Des passed away. And this, yeah.
Until next time.
Kakite.
When something else cries.